Are you in love with your spouse? Let's be honest. Some days you might wake up. Did you wake up this morning and just go like, wow, I am so in love with them? Or did you wake up this morning and just kind of go, today I just kind of like you a little bit? So sometimes it's not always easy to love one another.
Hi, we're David and Theresa Mabry, and we are with One Another Marriage. And we want to talk to you today about what it means to love one another. But first, will you hit like, subscribe, hit that notification button, right?
Yes.
So you get more information. Our whole purpose is to help as many couples as possible to have vibrant and alive marriages, healthy, long-lasting marriages, and see transformation in their lives. And then they're going to have greater fulfillment and then have greater impact on those around them.
Right.
So for us, the foundation of everything we do is based on this love one another concept and idea. And in fact, we've placed it within, it's the first step of 5 for what's called the love step. Love one another, serve one another, touch one another, edify or encourage one another, and have peace with one another. But let's start today with love one another. So this is based upon something we find in the New Testament. In the New Testament, Jesus turns to his disciples and he says, "A new command I give to you, that you will love one another." And really that's the foundation for everything that we do, right? In that verse right there. And so you may say, once again, you may say, no duh, we're like supposed to love each other, right? But hey, if you're married for any amount of time, you know that it's a struggle to say that you really have these love feelings kind of thing. But love is beyond just those feelings. And that's why Jesus said it's a new command. That word actually can mean fresh command as well. It's a fresh meaning that, hey, let's put freshness to this idea of loving one another. And when you place that within your married relationship, it's then every day you wake up, you are saying, there's a fresh love that I have, fresh commitment, fresh idea of how I'm expressing this, whether I'm really feeling in love or not. When you do this, it gives you leverage, helps you to capitalize and do so much more as a couple, helps you to have a greater fulfillment and a greater impact on those around you, right?
That's true. And when you are loving one another, there needs to be some type of connection, right? You need to be able to understand your partner, to hear your partner's voice per se, to know their likes, their dislikes, preferences, all these things wrap into how you can better love one another. So practically, like, loving one another requires devotion to each other, right? We can't go about a married relationship without having that devotion to our spouse, commitment to them, for the sake of loving them as best as you can, like no one else can. This is your most intimate earthly relationship that you can have between a married.
And when you do that, it's more honoring, right?
Exactly. So devotion, honoring each other, being able to forgive each other. When we love one another, we're able to forgive each other. Because let's be honest, without having that understanding of how to love David better, I could have a hard time forgiving him sometimes. But understanding that's what's best for the relationship and best for him, having that forgiveness, having acceptance.
Yeah, that's right. Accepting your partner for exactly where they're at, which helps an awful lot. And we covered this in another video, but that ability to overlook minor offenses, right? That's part of that forgiveness, and that acceptance is not kind of getting bent out of shape so easily. And that's that daily, fresh, loving one another.
Right. So those are just some of the extra words that we would challenge you with to say, how do you love your spouse better? How do you love them with this idea of a fresh commandment, right? Devotion, honor, being able to forgive, acceptance of one another. And so the challenge would be, how do you feel that your spouse shows you that love, and how can you tell your spouse the best way for them to show you that love?
And that means opening up in conversation day by day. It's being able to ask the question of saying and being ready for the answer of, hey,
Yes.
what's the most loving thing I can do today? What's the most loving thing I can say today? How can I love you better? And remembering that, and this is across the board, no matter where you're coming from in your relationship, whether you're newly married, whether you're been married for a short time, or whether you've been married 50 years, it's being able to wake up each day and say, hey, you know what? How can I love you better today? I think a second way that we see this practically applied is to be able to say, in every given situation that you face in your relationship, that you as an individual will be able to say, what's the most loving thing that I can do right now in response to this? What's the most loving thing that I can do, that I could say in response to what's going on right now? So you know what? Your partner having a rough day, kind of cranky at you, you're going through difficult times. What is the most loving thing that you can do at that moment? What's the most loving thing you can say right at that moment? That takes a lot of discipline.
Takes a lot of discipline.
And it takes a lot of effort. But I'm telling you what, healthy marriages take a lot of work to them. They're not easy all the time. And then we have some easy times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But there's some times that it's difficult. So it's just to say, every day away. And it includes good times too, saying, okay, what's the most loving thing I could do right now in this good time? And maybe that's just an appreciation or sharing with your partner how much you like that moment.
And sometimes the most loving thing to do in the moment is not say anything at all.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's right.
So be challenged in that way too, that, smile and and choose not to say something that would not be loving. So.
What about you? We'd love to hear from you, even in the comments below. How do you express love to one another? And if this video is helpful to you, like I said before, hit like, mention in the comments. We love our one another couples out there, our tribe of couples that are really working on their relationship. And so also share this video wherever you can. Absolutely. And then watch the others if you haven't already, because this is the first one, love one another. And then there's a video on serve one another, there's one on touch one another, one on edify one another, and one on have peace with one another. Yeah. Go back and capture several of those. So thanks for joining us today.
Bye.